I feel infinite.
Go for what you really love, not because the money is more important than anything else in the world. Because if you go for what you really love and what you really want to do, you'll do a better job at it. And money will always come and make you comfortable if you love what you do.
You give yourself over to whatever you're passionate about, and what comes back to you is energy in the form of monetary compensation.
With you, I pray more now to be understood. No, excuse me, to understand than to be understood. I pray now to learn how to love than to be loved. Because God has given me an abundance. So, I don't need God. These people don't understand me. They think I'm crazy. Every time I'm on the mic, they just, it's not about that. I pray that I understand them so that I can talk to them, minister to them even more. You understand what I'm saying?
Time. Time is the master. All we have is time, Time is the master of our reality. All we have is time. We have a limited amount of time available on this planet. Once you go to bed, see what the profession that I do, I get to see people transition from this planet all the time. And it's a constant reminder to me that I have very little time. The Buddha said, the mistakes that you make is thinking that you have time. You don't have as much time as you think. It is so precious. It's the most precious resource that the human body has. Is the time, the breath associated with the time that you have. Appreciate it, right? Pay close attention to it, have reverence to it, because it's a gift. Maximize it, do what you love, because at the end of the day, you won't be here forever. And that's just a conscious reminder. Wake up every day, and when you wake up, you say to yourself, I'm still alive, because believe it or not, the average statistic says that at least 1 million people go to bed and never wake up, right? That's a fact. At least 1 million. So just realize that do what you love. But don't be misguided by thinking that it's going to be easy. Yeah? One must be organized in your thoughts and your actions and your direction in order to make your dreams a reality, For me, how I manage my time is I have that constant reminder to myself, you don't have as much time as you think. Appreciate it, maximize it to the best of your ability, and put things in place in order to make what it is that you wish to see your life blossom into happen.
What you focus on expands. If you focus on the goodness in your life, you create more of it. And if you live with an open palm rather than a closed fist, you leave room for immeasurable blessings to flow through your hands.
I recommend that we take the time to go and immerse in nature. That is the best thing you can do to get rid of your anxiety. Take your shoes off so you can reconnect with the earth.
All you are is who you are in this moment, right? That's literally all that exists. All that exists is the present. So stop focusing on that outcome. Focus on the journey. I feel like I say this.
You stay true to your core and to yourself, you can't go wrong.
Right.
Everything, we always assume that if things aren't taken in on large levels, that they're failures, right? But I think the failure is not being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think anytime you step into your truth, that's the nut. That's the line. That's where you stay in that way. Stay on that path. Never sway out of that, because that's the right way. That's never going to lead you astray. Is you have to stay authentic to yourself, and that way you'll always hear the messages. You'll always, whether it's big or small, whether it's this huge success or maybe 2 people peep it, it's successful because you stayed in alignment with yourself.
And there's no human measure to it.
It's really no you got to
yeah.
stay 100% yourself. That's what I really wanted to stay in alignment with this line, was I just wanted everything to be true to me. Now I just have to trust it.
Because when you choose transformation, you have to withstand isolation. Transformation cannot happen with company. Transformation takes place in isolation.
We are electromagnetic. The sun is electric. The earth is magnetic. We are electromagnetic. If we don't pray, if we don't meditate, the connection between heaven and earth becomes disconnected. We are the conductor. Think about it. And I'm not going to be religious here. I'm being spiritual here. When we pray, prayer is a form of commune with the divine and with nature. And so if you were to do a visualization, when you pray, the light comes into your body through your crown chakra, and it goes through your entire body and it nourishes you. And then that's a circle. It's almost like, you know, in physics you see the magnet and the flow of energy around it. That's exactly how it is with a human. We're here, the energy flows in, it flows down through our feet into the earth, and it's like that. We also pulling it up from the earth and it goes around. When that is interrupted or broken, that is when you have the illness. That's when you have depression. That's when you have anxiety. That is when you start to have physical ailments as well.
Yeah. See, I don't have any choice about what my life is going to be like. The only choice I possibly might have is how I'm going to react to it.
What do you pray for most?
Peace.
Oh my God.
I pray for peace a lot. All 24/7 peace and protection. Those are really important for me.
For you?
Right now, there's so much conflict in the world because people are trying so hard. Driving ambition, exacting plans, goal setting, all for the gratification of the ego. But when you really let go, you flow. And that's what peak experiences are. Peak living is no anticipation, no resistance, no regrets. Flow with the river. Let it take you where it goes. And what you realize is that ultimately, that's the highest intelligence, subtle intention, choiceless awareness, allowing the divine to flow. So there's no resistance to existence. Once there's resistance to existence, then the divided mind takes over.
Dancing has always been a part of our culture as a people, melanated people. We full of rhythm. So dancing is very much a part of melanated peoples. It is something that we do naturally. We hear the drums. The drums are healing. People don't recognize that drums and rhythm are healing. And just a sidebar, in certain African countries, if any member of the tribe started experiencing signs of mental instability, they would get them out there, they would play the drums, and they have to stamp their feet. Stamp, stamp, stamp. If you think about it, that's like you're grounding, you're earthing, you're reconnecting back with Mother Nature and the vibration. So energetically, right? Mental illness, anxiety, depression have to do with the energy body being out of balance. So the dancing that we do as Jamaican people and as people of color is part of what keeps us grounded, what keeps us connected. Every ceremonial ritual for every people all over the world involves dancing. It involves sound and it involves dancing, right? So I tell people, listen, if you're feeling depressed or if you feel anxious, turn on some music in your living room and dance, right? If you like reggae, put on the reggae. If you like salsa, put on the salsa. Or whatever it is, put it on and dance and you will feel better.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living."
My home is always where I am. My home is not my head. My home is what I think about. How I try to set my mind in the thinking that I think. That is my home. My home is not a material home somewhere out there. You know, my home is not my head.
Persons who suffer from anxiety and depression, dwell a lot in the past or dwell a lot in the future. So they're anxious about the future or they're sad about the past. And so if you can become a little bit more present and just say, listen, man, I'm grateful. I'm here. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I have food on the table. I have one little work. Although the people them stress me. If you can just look at it and change your thought patterns to one of more gratitude and acceptance, then you are good.
Can't really navigate through life based on comfort because change is rooted in discomfort, right? You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable because new goals are going to be new territory and your brain is going to be like, we need to go back to what we're used to. We don't know how this is going to work out. This is scary. Once again, it's trying to keep us, safe, survival. And so you kind of have to let it know, no, this is okay. This is good. This change is good, and this is why. And I really do 100% believe that this is how I am constantly able to elevate when it comes to my health, my finances, my spirituality, all of that. I train my brain to accept change, to accept trying new things, because these new things have the potential to change my life. And once you do that, staying consistent becomes a lot easier because you're not self-sabotaging and you have the discipline to stay committed because you know why you're worthy of it,
It's the living, it's the life, it's the now, it's wisdom without understanding is, what is it? How do you're so wise, you're so intelligent, but how do you apply that to your life? I don't want to be religious. I want to be spiritual. Anybody can be religious. Some people jog religiously. You don't want to be that. You want to be spiritual. You want to have a relationship with God as opposed to doing what everyone else does.
Okay, here's the deal. If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to jump. You got to take a leap of faith. You got to dash off that cliff and you got to jump out there as far as you can. Now, a lot of times you stand on the cliff of life and you see other people soaring by, gliding down like a bird flying through the air. You know why? It's because their parachute open. But the only way to get your parachute to open so you can soar, you got to jump. Now here's the problem. Here's the problem, my friends. When you jump, I can assure you one thing. You listening? I promise you this. Your parachute will not open right away. No, that's the fear part. I promise you your parachute will not open right away. You're going to hit them sides and them rocks. You're going to tear your back out on them cliffs. You're gonna cut yourself. You're going to get wounded. You're going to get some tears and stuff like that. But eventually, the parachute will open and you'll be soaring. But here's the other caveat. Let me teach you this right here. If you do not jump, I promise you one thing. Your parachute will never open. So you're safe, but you'll never soar. You got to jump.
I think everything is based on intention.
Mm-hmm.
And art is the playing field between angels and demons. And magic is everywhere. And magic is based off the form of intention. And I think all universal law is based off the form of intention.
And to me, that's a reflection of love. When someone can see you enjoying yourself and want to participate or want to encourage or want to help you to do something that you enjoy.
Self-love is not just about going in the mirror and going, oh, I love me. It's also placing boundaries on the amount of work you force yourself to do, pleasing people, showing up for everyone else at the detriment of your own self, and generally just not being kind to yourself. Treat yourself kindly. Be nice to yourself just as you would be nice to someone that you like on the outside.
Capacity. So I come to places like this by the riverside. And for some strange reason, when I hear the breeze blowing, coming through the leaves of the trees, and I hear the river going, it does something to my mental capacity. So I know for a fact, without a professor of science have to tell me, we are made for nature, so we are healed by nature. You have to come to nature for the healing.
But, you know, if you love something, man, you know, if you love something and if you're committed and diligent, you know, the things that happen, I mean, you know, there's some people who are blessed with gifts, but then there's certain people who can work toward, you know, even with the gift that I have now, I mean, I've leaned on God for so long. Hey, God, you just gave me this gift, and I'm just going to go out there and sing. But it's only now that I'm realizing how much larger and how expansive my gift becomes when I actually pay attention to it and try to you know, practice and try to perfect it.
You attract more or less of what you want by how you choose to interact with it, as well as what you believe about yourself. Do you truly feel you deserve what you're asking for? Are you worth it? How you answer impacts what comes your way.
I thought for a long time that my grandmother was God. She was so tall. And she used to tell me, sister, Mama don't know what she's going to do. Mama just going to step out on the word. Just step out on the word of God. People call me stupid, dumb, a moron, an idiot, because I didn't speak for 6 years. I was a mute. And Mama used to tell me when she'd braid my hair was huge and very curly. My mama would say, sister, Mama don't care what these people say, that you must be an idiot, you must be a moron, because you can't talk. Sister, Mama don't care. Mama know when you and the good Lord get ready, you're going to be a teacher. Sister, you're going to teach all over this world. I used to sit there and think, this poor ignorant woman, doesn't she know I will never speak? I've taught at the Bima Theater in Israel, in Tel Aviv. I've taught in Egypt. I've been distinguished visiting professor at the University of Exeter in England. I've taught in Rome and all over the United States. And each time I have another honor, I think of my grandma.
I just don't want to miss my mark. Whatever God has for me to do on earth in the realest way, I do not want to miss that mark. I just want to do that every day.
So first of all, bro, I'm just doing the best I can. I look at everyone and I see the God in them, you know what I'm saying? I see that they just doing the best they can, dog. Like, whether you on the corner, whether you in the top office in the skyscraper. So for me, I feel like my purpose is to just be my best self, do everything with my heart in it, do everything with passion. People could see that, they could feel that, and hopefully that inspire them to live out their passion, live out their life in that manner too. And being happy. Being happy is big. Being happy is the key to everything. Mm-hmm. You know, being happy that's what success really is.
Yeah. She told me, sister, when you get, give. When you learn, teach. These are lessons to live by. I am grateful to have been loved and to be loved now and to be able to love, because that liberates. Love liberates. It doesn't just hold. That's ego. Love liberates.
You know, if you plant the seed, if you sow sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. If you sow in abundance, you'll reap in abundance. So that was, you know, always sort of in us from very young. So even the things that I loved, I tried to, you know, put a couple seeds in the, you know, a bunch of seeds in the ground and see what sprung up. And sometimes it was acting and sometimes it was music. But whatever it was, I continued to plant.
But I realized that every time I create a positive thought in my mind, also I create a negative thought. It's just like, I'm going to be very successful. And my mind said, oh, no, you're not, you know? Okay, so since I create positive and negative, it's which one I give the most attention that is powerful. When I think positive constantly, It's very powerful and it controls me. If I think negative all the time, it's going to control me too. So right now, my positive thought is there is going to be no disaster to destroy what I have planned for me and my family. And if there is, that's life, you know? And I can accept what I get. My intention is for it to work and to be successful, and I will accept what I get. See,
Please speak on the importance of celebrating small successes just as much as the big successes.
Small successes lead to big successes. You are not going to get a big success in most cases unless you look at the steps, the incremental, step by step, breath by breath that it takes to get to that place. I think we're entering the season of resolutions. To people who still do those, we talk, I'm going to lose weight, right? I'm going to land that big job, all these goals, but how do you get there? Losing 50 pounds starts with losing an ounce. Every pound is important. You can't ignore that. Every dollar you make toward that $1 billion that most people want to reach is significant. But you're not going to get there unless you invest, take the time to do the small steps. And when I think of small steps, I also think of things like waking up in the morning, getting yourself dressed, getting to work. That's a step towards something. And I think a lot of wanting the big successes and wanting to recognize them, that has to do with our ego. It has to do with impressing other people, like, look at me, look what I've done. Your soul is patient. It's the ego that wants everything right now. So yes, small successes lead to big successes. Think about when you got that first paycheck. Did someone just drop that on you? No, you grinded, right? You worked 40 whatever hours, 2 weeks in a hole, and then you got the check. In some stores you go in and you see that first dollar bill that they made, they put it on their wall. It's the small steps first to get to the big. We have to celebrate those. They're important.
This world has convinced us that our worth lies somewhere in the future once we do certain things. But in reality, the truth is your worth, it's inherent. You're inherently valuable. You're inherently loved. And again, you are inherently deserving of whatever life you want without having to do anything else. And once you recognize that, and once you really start believing that to be true, everything that you want will come to you with a lot more ease. What's good?
I lived on a hill that from the gate to the house was almost a quarter mile uphill. And people would come to visit me, and they would reach to the gate and they would start going up the hill. And I would be just going one step at a time. As it would reach to a certain point, the bus. So you learn, you know, that the race is not for the swift. So you learn that a slow pace, you just do your thing and just go on doing your thing. Also, no matter what time of the day or night you come in, and you're at the bottom of that hill, and you put one foot, you see, if you don't put the next foot, you're not reaching nowhere. So it becomes like life lessons. Just life lessons. That anything that you're going to do, you start at A, and you take your time and you build. And when that's secure, when that first foot sit down on the ground, you put the next one. And when that one sit down, you go again. It helps you to how you construct things, just how you do everything in life.
I also think discipline and consistency is you honoring yourself. It is the highest form of honor because even though it's difficult, it does not feel good, especially in the beginning. You know that it's for your greater good and you're kind of delaying that gratification so that your future self can be in a much better position, whether that's health-wise, financially, career-wise, whatever it is you honoring yourself and more specifically your future self.
Because that's how we improve the world around us, by working within us. You improve yourself, light up the corner that you live on. You know, you may not touch a gazillion lives, but you can light up your own space.
Where are you spiritually now? What do you feel about yourself, your identity?
I am open. I feel that's where I'm at right now. I am open. I'm awake sometimes. I also love to sleep. I'm a dreamer. And I feel infinite. Beautiful.
She's waking up.
She's waking up. Totally different. You have to navigate it different. But I get to learn. And then once you learn and you go through that, you on the top of another one. So I would just encourage everybody, never be afraid of not knowing. Never be afraid of not knowing. Find out. Because that's how you get, to mastership.
I'm in a different space, like where I don't care as much as I used to. I used to care so much, and thank you. And it's nice because it's free. I wrote this poem and it's on my Instagram page where it was just what I was feeling, but it was basically I for years felt like I was at the edge of a cliff, and people were poking me and prodding me, and all I was trying to do was just not fall, And then one day I just jumped. Here's the best part: when I jumped, I started flying. Right? So I'm in a season now where it's yes, I'm sensitive to certain things, but at the end of the day, at the core of me, and anybody who knows anything about me knows no matter what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do doesn't matter.
Let's not be mediocre in our greatness. You know what I mean? Think big. Think big. And think in doses. Think in experiences. And don't be afraid of experiences that teach you. Don't be afraid of that. We don't always have to be so, our generation is just so, we're just cool all the time. It's I'm always cool. I'm a baller. I have all the women. I know everything. And that's not realistic. No one knows everything at every time. No one is just that cool all the time.
Maybe the hardest part is if you teach, you have to live your teaching. You can't say, you do not as I do, but do as I say. No. You have to say, I'm doing my best to live what I teach.
Are you a rich man?
When you mean rich, what you mean?
You have a lot of possessions? A lot of money in the bank?
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever.
Thrive. And if there's a challenge ahead of you right now, remind yourself that you've already jumped many hurdles in the past. So what says you can't jump this one again, right? Remind yourself of your strength, my friend, because it was placed within you. And this experience, this anxiety, this fear that you have to step into is going to unlock a new version of you so you can step into the position that God made for you. Sure. Feel me on that one. Remember who you are.
What do you think is a message that the universe has had for you over and over again that you've been learning?
Surrender. Let go.